Cold has ended more battles than bullets ever did. In World War II, soldiers didn't just fight enemies, they fought freezing nights, soaked boots, and wind that cut through walls like they weren't there. And here's the part most people miss. Many of the heating tricks they used on the front lines still work right now, inside your own home, without modern heaters or electricity. This isn't nostalgia. It's hard-earned survival knowledge, tested in trenches, forests, bombed-out buildings, and frozen fields. Let's get straight into it. Before fuel, before fire, before anything else, World War II soldiers relied on the oldest heater in human history, each other. On the Eastern Front and during winter campaigns across Europe, soldiers slept pressed together, back to back or spooned tightly, because shared body heat could raise temperatures enough to prevent hypothermia. Indoors today, the lesson isn't about crowding a room. It's about heat zoning. Soldiers learned quickly that heating a small enclosed space is far more efficient than trying to warm everything. Close doors, block unused rooms, sleep in the smallest safe area. Even now, that principle saves energy and keeps warmth where it matters, around people, not empty air. World War II soldiers didn't just pile on clothes randomly, they layered with intention. Thin inner layers to trap warmth close to the skin, mid-layers for insulation, outer layers to block wind and moisture. Cotton was avoided in wet conditions because it steals heat when damp. Wool was gold. Indoors, this still works better than cranking a heater. A thermal base layer, a loose insulating layer, and something that blocks drafts can make a cold room feel livable. The key lesson soldiers learned was air trapping. Warmth lives in the air between layers. Modern fabrics help, but the principle hasn't changed since 1944. One brutal discovery at the front was that cold rises from the ground faster than it falls from the air. Soldiers sleeping directly on earth, stone or concrete froze, even with blankets. So they built barriers, pine branches, wooden boards, straw, anything to break contact with the ground. You know, this still applies indoors today. Cold floors drain body heat fast. Rugs aren't just decoration, they're insulation. Even something as simple as cardboard under a bed can make a real difference in unheated spaces. On multiple fronts, soldiers built makeshift heaters using metal cans, bricks and controlled flames. Not roaring fires, just small contained heat sources that radiated warmth slowly. The goal wasn't to heat a room, it was to warm bodies, hands and gear. Indoors today, safe versions of this idea still work. Passive heat sources like hot water bottles, warm bricks wrapped in cloth, or even heated stones placed near the feet, well, they replicate what soldiers relied on nightly. Wind was an invisible killer. Soldiers stuffed rags into gaps, built snow walls, hung blankets over entrances, and used canvas to seal openings. Even a small draft could undo all other heating efforts. Modern homes leak heat constantly. We soldiers would never accept that. Curtains over doors, towels at the base of door frames, covering vents in unused rooms. Calories equal heat. Soldiers in winter campaigns were given higher fat rations because, well, digestion itself produces warmth. Hot meals weren't just morale boosts, they were thermal weapons against the cold. Indoors, this principle still applies. Warm food raises core temperature. Soups, stews, and hot drinks do more than just feel comforting. They actively help the body retain heat. One clever habit soldiers developed was syncing rest with warmth. They slept shortly after eating, after activity, or when heat sources were strongest. Waiting too long meant losing that heat and struggling through the cold. At home, this means understanding when your space is warmest and using it strategically. Go to bed while warmth is still in the room. Use residual heat instead of fighting cold from scratch. Soldiers didn't waste heat. They rode it. World War II forced people to master heat efficiency under extreme conditions. No smart thermostats, no central heating, just physics, biology, and discipline. These soldiers weren't trying to be clever. They were trying to survive. And the methods that worked then still work now, because, honestly, human bodies haven't changed. Modern heating hides these lessons. But when power fails, costs rise, or cold sneaks in unexpectedly, these old methods outperform expensive solutions. They're quiet, reliable, proven. Here's the interesting part. Every one of these tricks is about control. Control of space, control of airflow, control of energy. WWII soldiers didn't create heat, they protected it. That mindset is the real lesson. Cold is defeated not by fighting harder, but by wasting less. And that's the thread that runs through every forgotten skill we explore here on Before Modern Times. If this video opened your eyes to how much history still lives in everyday survival, make sure you like it. Subscribe for more forgotten knowledge pulled straight from the past. Share it with someone who thinks old skills are obsolete. And stay with us, because the past still has a lot to teach us, especially when things get cold.